This is Mario Rosenstock standing in for Matt Cooper. And if you're planning a trip that involves international travel in the coming months, you'll have change. You have to change how you carry your liquids in your carry-on luggage. From Sunday, all passengers passing through Terminal 1 and Terminal 2 at Dublin Airport will have to be prepared to take all liquids, aerosols and gels from their hand luggage before passing through security. This is due to new C3 scanners and EU rules on safety. To explain all this further, travel journalist Eoghan Corry joins me now on the line from Canada. Can you hear me, Eoghan?
I can hear you, Mario. It's great to hear from you. Good afternoon.
Brilliant. Come in the Canadian jury. Eoghan, what were the rules for liquids in carry-on luggage for Dublin Airport?
Speaking through my mouthful of maple syrup as we speak here. Yeah, it's not an enormous change, Mario. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Listeners will be very familiar with what happened in Dublin over the last few weeks, few months. Terminal 2 has got almost totally changed over to trendy new scanners, the C3 scanners. Listeners who are involved in the medical services will know more about it, how it works. It gives a much better picture, and the EU cleared it as possible that you didn't have to take your liquids out of your bag, you didn't have to take your laptops out of your bag. Now the EU has had a look at that. There's been a few problems with it. It's not going to change. It's not going to take an awful lot of rectifying, and it means that everybody's liquid has to come back out of the bag again, even if you're using the new scanners. It doesn't apply to laptops, which is great news, because that was the cause of a lot of the delays. But the reality is that not every airport had the new scanners, so it doesn't make that dramatic a change in the way people travel. Not as dramatic as some of the headlines would suggest.
The C3 scanners, they're a bit like CT scans, aren't they? And what can you tell us about the difference between Terminal 1 and Terminal 2? There is a slight difference, isn't there?
There's a massive difference because they're very big. They're a little bit bigger. Installing them in Terminal 1 is a bigger job than installing them in Terminal 2. We have 11 of the new scanners in Terminal 2, but just 4 in Terminal 1. And the airport's dads among your listeners, I know there's quite a few of them, will know very well how this works. You go into Terminal 1, and if you head over to the left, think Beyonce to the left, you will get the 4 new C3 scanners. It's quicker to get through than the laptops don't have to come out of the bag. And there's also people with heart implants. They don't need the full body pat down. If you have your cards, the people who are in that side of those sort of conditions will know exactly what they're talking about. It means that you go through a scanner like a normal passenger does. Much quicker, much more efficient. Head to the left in Terminal 1. Now, the real change which comes in on September the 1st on Sunday is that the bags that liquids that had to come out of the bag, that could be left in the bag for the new C3 scanners, they now have to come out of the bag again. And it's a little bit complicated because Dublin Airport are telling us that you can actually leave 100 ml liquids in your bag, and you can leave as many of them as you like with the new scanners, not with the old scanners. So if you get your whiskey bottle, for instance, Mario, and decant it into 8 separate 100 ml containers, you can actually leave it in your bag. You can have as many as you like. But the way Dublin Airport has couched this is, treat it as if nothing has changed. The chances are in Terminal 1 you'll be meeting one of the old scanners anyway. It isn't that major a change in the regulation. Where it does make a big difference is we have 4 airports that have completely switched over to the new scanners. They are Kerry, Shannon, Knock and Donegal. And in those cases, people have probably got used to leaving the liquids in the bag. They're going to have to start taking them out again.
And when do you think they might be, these scanners, in every airport?
It's going to take a while before the whole of Europe is switched over. You know, the bigger ones, it's slower than the smaller ones. Copenhagen's a good example that moved early. Linate in Milan is the one that moved early. But the Heathrow's, Charles de Gaulle, Frankfurt, they're going to be slower. I think by October of 2025, all of England and all of Ireland will be moved over. Cork is going to be a little bit slower. They've only started the process, and Belfast City has only started the process. Belfast International will probably be moved over by October of next year. It's really a 2-3 year process before we get used to travelling internationally, not taking liquids out of the bag. And it's a big, the amount of coverage we've seen over the last week shows how big an imposition on passengers it still is, even years after it was first implemented. The big thing from Sunday is it's not that different from what the regulations that have been applied and that we've been adhering to. People really won't notice that big a difference from this change that the EU is asking us to take the liquids back out of the bag. But I do think that by the summer rush of next year, the EU regulations will have been updated. We will be allowed to leave the liquids in the bag, but only when we're meeting the new scanners. That's a slower process altogether, Mario.
Okay, Eoghan Corry, have a great time in Canada.